All right, boys and girls, today is the very last day that we are going to spend on our winter self-portraits. Remember, a self-portrait is a picture that you draw of yourself. So in my artwork here, you see a picture that I have drawn of me. So this is my self-portrait. To finish off this artwork, we are going to be making some snowflakes falling in the background around our person's head. And we're going to practice doing the snowflakes on the back of our paper first. So when we flip our paper over, we can just use a pencil or a crayon for this. But we're going to practice making a couple different types of snowflakes. The easiest way to make a snowflake is just to make a dot. So a circle that is filled in, and of course snowflakes are not all the same, so you might have some that are big and some that are small. But this is one way to make your snowflakes, just coloring in some dots that are falling around your person. The second way to make a snowflake is to make it look kind of like a star. So to do that, you would put a plus sign or a letter T, depending on how you want to think of it. And then you're going to put a letter X right over the top. And that's kind of like a starry looking snowflake. And again, you might have some that are really big and you might have some that are little. And so you can use either the dot snowflakes, or you can make star snowflakes, or what I like to do is actually use both of these so that you have some different looking, something more interesting to look at. So once we've practiced doing our snowflakes on the back, we're going to turn it over and we're going to use a white oil pastel to make our snowflakes on the front. It's going to be a little bit hard because using white oil pastel on white paper, you can't see it. So you're just going to have to really focus on what you're doing, do the best job you can. So I'm going to make some of my snowflakes, some big, some little. Right now I'm doing the star type snowflakes, and I know you can't see them on my paper, but you'll see it in just a minute when the magic happens. Then I'm going to go back starting at the top, and I'm going to start putting some dots for my snowflakes. Here and there, here and there. As many as you want, or as few as you want. Maybe you don't want a whole lot of snowflakes, I don't know. Once you are done with your snowflakes, I will collect your oil pastel, and we will pass out watercolor paints. We are going to use blue and purple watercolor paints to paint in our background. And when we do that, our snowflakes are going to shine right through our paint. The oil in the oil pastel makes a resist, where it resists the paint, so those snowflakes will show up. So to start painting, I'm going to take my wet paintbrush. I'm going to get the extra drips off just by touching the side of the water bucket. I don't want it to be really messy and sloppy, so I'm just going to touch the inside. Then I'm going to brush my paintbrush across the top of my paint. I'm not pressing hard, I'm not scrubbing in a circle, just very lightly petting the top of my paint. And then we're ready to start going on our paper. And when we paint, we go back and forth. We never go around in circle with our paintbrush. We're going to go back and forth, and we're going to go around our person's head. We're not going to paint over our self-portrait, but you can see how my snowflakes start popping up? You can see them. I'm going to go around the top of my hat. Get a little more paint. We're going to go around our snowflake, or our hat there. And you can see those snowflakes really start popping through our paint. It's kind of magic. So right now I'm just using blue paint because I like that wintry blue sky. And so I'm going back and forth. My paintbrush never has a crazy hairdo. See how it's nice and slick? We never want to touch with our fingers, but you can see that my paintbrush is nice and slick. It has a nice hair. If your paintbrush has crazy hair, then you need to get it wet, get the drips off, and start again. So I'm just going back and forth around my self-portrait, and you can see all of my snowflakes that have popped up. Now, if you want to add some purple, you can take a little bit of purple and add it in to some areas, and it will kind of look like almost like a sunset with the blue mixed in with our purple. So again, getting those extra drips off, getting a little bit of paint, adding a little bit here and there, and then kind of mixing it in with blue. There we go. So now we have kind of a beautiful wintry sky. When we are done with this painting, we will put it in the drying rack, and then we will clean up our paint in our water bucket. And that is it for our winter self-portrait.